Hi, it's Mindy with Astrology by Love, here to bring you an awesome series on the moon. So we are going to go ahead, jump right in and get started. I wanted to mention a few things first. So the moon in astrology is our emotional body. It shows how we process, how we feel, contain, express, and perceive emotions. If you are born at night, then the moon expresses more frequently. So, and sometimes, a lot of times, is more important than the sun. A good celebrity example of this is Tony Robbins. So, Tony was born at night. He is a Pisces sun, which is sensitive, intuitive, feeling, and we do see that energy in Tony, but he expresses as more of an alpha male. Being born at night, he was also born when the moon was in the sign of Aries. So that is a lot of times where his alpha male energy comes from, his dynamic, go-getter, accomplishment attitude. So that's an example of a celebrity born at night. And if you two are born at night, your moon may express more than your sun, and that would be normal. The moon is also influenced by the house it is in. And the moon represents our mothers or mother figures in our life, as well as the women that we are attracted to and that we attract in. So in a man's life, the moon represents the type of woman that, once again, he is attracted to and who also embodies the energy that his moon carries. So sometimes, and a lot of times in a man's life, that moon energy comes through in the women in his life. We are also going to talk about the stars and what degrees of particular signs these stars are in, and how they affect the moon when the moon is in line with these stars. Know that when a planet or point is culminating or coming closer to a star, that energy is building. Once it passes by, it's kind of built. There's like a pressure release. It quickly lessens and then fades away. Also know that angles from other planets affect your moon as well. So as a general rule of thumb, a sextile or trine brings a planet's energy into the influence of the moon by a pleasant way. It's complementary, it works together. If the planet is in a square or opposition, then it brings that planet's energy into the moon in a frustrating and challenging way. So in the conjunction with a planet with the moon just depends on the planet. So different astrologers have different opinions on the moon's orb of influence. Some astrologers, like William Lilly, say that the moon has an influence on a planet up until 12 degrees. And I've heard other astrologers say as little as 7 degrees. Some ancient astrologers did not use degrees when making charts, and has sort of given us the impression that the entire sign to another entire sign is included in those energies. The stars influence the moon so that the nature of the moon is not lost. It just adds an extra layer of energy, a different energy. As with all energy, sometimes one is stronger than the other, but the original moon energy in that sign is still accessible on some level. Also note, not all of these star placements are fantastic. So, instead of massaging the edges of the truth, I do have to say some negative things about a few positions. Please don't shoot the messenger. There seems to be a balance of some sort in the universe. So some of these places are thought of as beneficial and others are not. Also notice some of these stars don't necessarily completely change the moon. They just amplify certain characteristics. So it may not be as much as a different thing as much, but more a characteristic is just intensified. One other point to consider is that a star has been known to influence the opposite point. So if your moon is behaving differently than the sign and there is not a star at that particular point, check the opposite zodiac and see if there is a star at that point. I don't cover that in these videos. I'm trying to make these not be super long, but I also want them to be informative. So if a star isn't there, check the other side. And for these videos, just as references, I have used Claudius Ptolemy's Tetrabiblios. I have used Vivian Robson's The Fixed Stars and Constellations and Astrology book, and also the websites astrologyking.com and constellationofwords.com. Doing research and going through all this, something I did notice was that Vivian Robson always had the most negative interpretations of the stars. And I thought, what's going on there? So I looked up his chart, and his moon is 2 degrees away from Saturn. It also has a mild square to Mars, which can readily cause a negative outlook on things. And just so you know, this astrologer that you're listening to right now, her moon is in Capricorn, which is also ruled by Saturn. So I'm going to try to keep this light and upbeat, but I do want this to be truthful and honest and also provide insight for you as well. And one last thing, please note that I have read about all of these stars multiple times. I have not necessarily had conversations with astrological scholars about each and every one of them. At the moment, I type out my readings in order to give myself time to best describe what is going on in the best possible way. So I have read and typed all of these names at one point or another. I have not necessarily spoken about them. I am not fluent in Arabic or Latin or even Chaldean. So I'm going to pronounce these names the best that I can. If I mess one up or mispronounce it, which will probably happen, and you know how to properly pronounce it, please let me know down below in the comments. I would love to learn the proper pronunciations of these names. Once again, thank you for watching, and we'll get started. One more thing. I have put the names of the stars down below in the description box next to the degree it is at, and have the time that it appears in the video right next to it. Enjoy! The Taurus Moon. The Taurus Moon craves the familiar and steady life, does not like change or any interruption to the family. The Taurus Moon is incredibly loyal, even to a fault, rarely cheats on a lover, once again does not like change, does not appear to be emotionally flustered, and can hold back for quite a while until that famous Taurian temper explodes. And then watch out. Anything and everything can be said, and at times, when they are enraged and in this temper, they are so angry they don't even remember what they say. Angry. So a Taurus moon prefers to be pursued by their lover. And when they are in the position where they need to instigate, they will wait and wait and wait before instigating. The Taurus moon will try to soothe their hurt feelings and others with food and sex, and can lay around for days when they are sad and not feel motivated to do anything. They are deeply affectionate, yet prone to a melancholy state. Beauty and luxury, though, can soothe their damaged emotions. The moon here is ruled by Venus. So the stars affecting this Taurus moon, number one is the star Mirach. So Mirach is at 0 degrees and 24 minutes of Taurus. This star brings about happy, positive, and kind romantic relationships. The Taurus moon here sees their lover in a kind romantic way and feels best when their lover is beautiful, fun, and they are surrounded by or eating or wearing beautiful things. More easily able to attract women like this into their lives as well, and their mother was probably in a loving relationship. Also shows a beautiful, caring mother. Prince Charles of England has his moon 2 minutes away from Mirach. The orb is just over 2 degrees. The next star is at 1 degree and 31 minutes of Taurus. It is called Mira. Mira is a star that can cause a Taurus moon to see things as glass half empty. Depending on how this is aspected, it could cause downright depression or a tenacious, stubborn, dedicated spirit. Not an emotionally exuberant placement by any means, and the soul with this moon will more likely be very serious and melancholy. About 1.5 degrees orb. At 3 degrees and 11 minutes of Taurus is a star called Mesarthim. Mesarthim is not a very bright star or far-reaching with its influence. The orb is right at 1 degree. When the moon is in contact with Mesarthim, it produces a protective and slightly paranoid individual. One who is on the lookout for attacks of all kinds from others and is protective of themselves and those they love. This protection may come across as jealousy or possessiveness, but it is from the fear of loss of what they love. The individual with the moon here probably feels like dear old mom is controlling and crazy. The next star is called Sharatan. Sharatan is at 3 degrees 49 minutes of Taurus. It is less than 1 degree away from Mesarthim and is also, and the moon affected by Mesarthim is also affected by Sharatan. Sharatan has just over a 2 degree orb. When the moon is near Sharatan, it definitely has a temper. And when it becomes impulsive, violence, danger, and injury are prone to occur. Depression and rage are also familiar to the person with this moon placement. And once again, remember this energy could be in the life through the mother or female lover. Being in such a rage that you lose control is possible with this placement, but with maturity and self-discipline, this moon is also capable of great ambitions that can be achieved. At 7 degrees and 40 minutes of Taurus is a star called Hamal, and 8 minutes away is at 7 degrees and 48 of Taurus is a star called Schedir. Schedir and Hamal, I'm going to talk about these two stars together because they are only 8 minutes apart. Seriousness, melancholy, and loyalty come from both of these stars when the moon is nearby, but also the ability to pursue and receive your heart's desire. Kindness, gentleness, and intuiting your lover's or mother's needs can slowly turn into anger and aggression. The person with this moon placement is not the one to make your enemy, because they will be very patient with you before you have crossed that line yet again, one last time. And when you do, they will be a very devoted, long-term, and frightening enemy. Not prone to wild mood swings, but their moods come on and then dissipate slowly. A beautiful mixture of an artist and a warrior with a slow, steady, reliable temperance. Just over a 2 degree orb for both of these stars. Next, at 14 degrees and 15 minutes of Taurus is Almach, and at 14 degrees and 19 minutes of Taurus is Menkar. So these two stars, Almach and Menkar, are only 4 minutes apart. This is another 2-star placement that I feel needs to be talked about together. Only 4 minutes apart, Almach is a mostly positive star, while Menkar is a mostly negative one. When the moon is here, you have one who is afflicted with many sorrows, but who is graceful and kind despite the afflictions. They handle negativity well and can express their pain through art. A heartbreaking song that touches the soul or a painting of war that brings about catharsis is what one can expect to be produced when someone whose moon is here. This energy can also play out from a mother who is in a miserable situation but is still kind and cares or a wife or lover who has a brave face and is kind through sickness. This star combination has a balance to it, one where you can't have the good without the bad. Just under a 1.5 degree orb for the balanced energies, and just beyond that to a 2 degree orb is a lighter application of the negative energies. Next, at 20 degrees and 52 minutes of Taurus is Rana. Rana is a fortunate star. So when the moon is here, you are a sapiosexual. That means you fall in love with someone's mind. You need to be constantly learning, traveling, or doing different things in a relationship to stay interested. You're also comfortable being in charge. This can play out for the man's lover or wife too. Interestingly enough, Bill Clinton's moon is less than a degree from this star, and it is safe to say he is a man of power and is married to a woman of power. When Bill and Hillary met, it was in school, and she was wearing no makeup and wearing glasses. There is a link below to a video. It's a little 5-minute YouTube video where Bill describes in pretty much perfect detail the influences star has on moon preferences. This star, Rana, has just over a 1 degree orb of influence. The YouTube video of Bill is describing how he met Hillary. It's worth watching, especially if your moon is near Rana. So the next star in Taurus to talk about is Zaurak. Zaurak is at 23 degrees, 52 minutes. The moon here causes one to feel alone in the world and to take everything super seriously. It's hard for this moon placement to see the light at the end of the tunnel, and they have suicidal tendencies and can just about drown in their sorrows. Mick Jagger's moon is less than a degree from this star, and his song, "I Can't Get No Satisfaction," comes to mind. The star Zaurak has just over a 1.5 degree orb of influence. At 24 degrees and 12 minutes of Taurus is Capulus. Capulus with the moon here typically brings out a dishonest individual, one who looks out into the world and easily sees and perceives evil and is better able to negotiate it and be aggressive and thrive because of it. It takes one to know one is the blessing when the moon is here. Lying is also associated with this moon placement. This can bring about a paranoid mother who sees all the ways their child can get her and encourages them to lie in order to avoid a confrontation or just to have their way. A wife or lover in a man's life can come across that way as well. This placement can also cause eyesight troubles for women. There is about a 1.5 degree orb of the influence of the star Capulus. Next in Taurus is 26 degrees and 10 minutes of Taurus is the star Algol. So this is the very first star I was introduced to astrologically. Taurus is ruled by Venus and an earth sign, yet I had noticed a pure evil in some Taurians, but not all. This star is very prominent in my mother's chart and my ex-husband's chart. And at some point, I will do a video specifically for this amazing and incredibly cruel star. Algol is known astrologically as the most evil star in the sky. This star brings erratic and wild mood swings, hysteria, paranoia, bipolar disorder, panic disorders, and typically some type of drug use. One's mother may be exceptionally cruel or mentally disturbed in some way. One of my female friends has this placement with her moon and couldn't finish high school due to her panic disorders and was hospitalized for them and homeschooled herself after that. The same friend's mother is known for being wild and loose, and now in her old age pretty much stays in her room and smokes meth. So a guy friend of mine has his moon here and has tons of crazy stalkers and unpredictable women that are constantly after him. Both of these friends have been off and on drugs and have very erratic mothers. The closest celebrity I could find with their moon just over 1 degree to Algol was Carrie Fisher. Carrie, in her later years, was open about her bipolar disorder and drug use. The closer the moon is to the star, the stronger the energy. And there seems to be a lack of celebrities within 1 degree of the star. And that's probably due to the fact that a moon exactly conjunct or super close to Algol would be so emotionally unstable, they would find it really hard to be productive in Hollywood or anywhere else really without a whole lot of help. It may not even be possible. With the moon conjunct Algol, one has voices in their head and an almost inability to find quiet and peace within their soul. Impulsive and disorderly thoughts and emotions prevail. An extremely bright and powerful star, modern astrologers give Algol a 2-degree orb, while medieval astrologer William Lilly said it affected any planet within 5 degrees. Jackson Pollock, a famous 20th century painter, had his moon at 25 degrees and 34 minutes per a rectified chart that also put his degree, the ascendant of his degree, at 26 degrees and 52 minutes. So those were the 2 celebrity examples for Algol. Last but not least is the Pleiades, also called the 7 Sisters. This is at 29 degrees and 58 minutes of Taurus. It's a cluster of 7 stars, with the brightest being Alcyon at 0 degrees and 0 minutes of Gemini. The main theme of the Pleiades is 7 sisters whom some type of drama or violence has occurred to them, and this brings about a sense of depression or victimhood when the moon is here. For men, it can also cause attraction to other men. This position also causes accidents, and one's mother could have physical afflictions or impairments due to accidents when your moon is in line with the Pleiades. An accident-prone lover for a man is another way this energy can come forth. So that wraps up the stars. Some examples of celebrities with their moon in Taurus are Christina Aguilera at 14 degrees and 44 minutes, Chris Brown at 17 degrees 54 minutes, Bill Clinton, whom we discussed, y'all watched that video, it's great, 20 degrees 18 minutes, Meryl Streep 14 degrees 24 minutes, Demi Lovato 16 degrees 43 minutes, Prince Charles is at 0 degrees of Taurus 26 minutes, Kobe Bryant 11 degrees 21 minutes, Mick Jagger 23 degrees 58 minutes, and Carrie Fisher, whom we talked about, 25 degrees and 4 minutes. Thank you for hanging with me today to talk about the Taurus moon.